Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. Please share the video as you join. I do appreciate you for joining us this evening. We have a packed show for you today, so please share the video. I'm very excited that you decided to join us today. I would like to know where you are joining from. So as you join us, please share the video. And I do appreciate you for joining me. If this is your first time joining, I am Sylvie, and this is Beyond Financial Reset, a show where we talk about redesigning our careers, resetting our mindset, enhancing our relationships, and building wealth so you can live the life that you deserve. So if we haven't met, I am Sylvie. I am a mom, I am a wife, I am a daughter, I'm a nurse practitioner, and I have learned that every great change begins with a reset, hence the name Beyond Financial Reset. But we do not want you to get stuck at reset. We want you to move beyond reset. So if you are interested in redesigning your career and rebuilding wealth and enhancing your relationship, you have come to the right place. So thank you so very much for joining us. And like I said, we have a very packed show today. We have a great special guest joining us. So please share the video. I would like to know where you are joining me from so we can get started. Today, we're going to be talking about the sandwich generation, caring for kids and parents while saving for retirement. I know a lot of you can relate to what we are going to be talking about today. So I would appreciate if we can get more people to join us so that we can get started. So the interesting thing as I was researching for our live show today is that 1 in 4 people are in the exact same position, the sandwich generation. So 1 in 4 adults, believe you me, belong to the sandwich generation. So this is not something that happens to you or I. A lot of people can relate to what we're going to be talking about today. So like I said, please share the video so that other people can join us. And let me know in the comments, where are you joining me from so that we can be able to shout you out. So thank you so very much. I do appreciate you for joining us today. And we have a special guest that will be coming on later on the show, Dr. Edi Kake. She will be sharing her own experience as well, which I am very excited because this is not something that is very, this is something that happens to a lot of us, a lot of immigrants, a lot of moms, a lot of working, career moms. And we want to make sure that we learn from others. We have experiences from others. And if you are joining me and you want to hop on the live as well, you are very welcome. Just let me know so that I can bring you on. With that being said, if you, as we're talking about it, belong to the sandwich generation, please drop a sandwich in the comments so that we can know you belong to that generation as well. So, if you're just joining us, we are talking about the sandwich generation, caring for kids and parents while saving for retirement. And let me share a little story with you. So a few years ago, gosh, it seems like a long time ago, I had my daughter, my first daughter. She was 2 years old, and I was going to nursing school, and my parents were living with me at the time. And I realized that my mom needed bilateral knee surgery. So here I was in nurse practitioner school, and I have a daughter who is barely 2 years old, and my mom is needing bilateral knee surgery. So that is when I realized, gosh, I am barely struggling to make it. We are in this, little tiny town home apartment, and how are we going to manage with my mom needing bilateral knee surgery, my daughter sleeping in my house, because in my bedroom. Because when you have your kids, don't you envisage that you're going to be able to give them this fabulous life, right? But no, her cot had to be in my bedroom because there was not enough space. You're living with your parents, and that you're not even thinking of saving for retirement at that time. You're thinking of, how am I going to survive? Right. So if you have been in that similar situation, or if you've ever been in a position where you are having to take care of your parents, you are having to take care of your kids, then you know what I'm talking about. And it was at that moment where I understood what it meant to be sandwiched. And I'm not talking about sandwich where the condiments are still floating around, right? I mean like sandwich real tight, where you are looking for breathing room. And sometimes that is what a lot of us feel like. You just need to breathe, and there's no breathing room. So many of us, women and career women, we feel like we just can't breathe sometimes because the demands are hitting you from everywhere. And these conversations are just letting us know that you are not alone. There are other people that feel what you're feeling. So again, like I said, drop a sandwich in the comments so that other people can be able to, feel like I am not alone in this, and we can form a support system where, other women can be able to have these conversations freely, can seek support. Because sometimes these conversations do not happen because they say, oh, team for house now, roof the cover 'em. And then we die silently because we are not having these conversations. We have blood pressure issues, we start having anxiety and all of that. But we need to have these conversations. We need to be able to seek help, right? So let's talk about the sandwich generation, that we are talking about. What exactly it is it? A sandwich generation is basically, like I said, is any generation that is caring for kids, and also be usually our aging parents, and caring for caring for kids, and then caring for our aging parents. Let's see here. And let's see comments. Okay. And having to care for our aging parents. So your needs are not met at all. Um, your your needs are put on the back burner. So we're not just talking about, for all intents and purposes, this video, we're talking about financial needs, but we also know that there are emotional needs that are not met. We also know that, you have mentally, you just need a break, right? But like I said, for all intents and purposes, we're going to be talking about financial needs that are not met. And the interesting part is, you're just not taking, if you're living with your parents right here, you're not just taking care of them financially here. Sometimes you still have to send money back home to people that might need you. So you're balancing care for the people you're living with, and you're also taking care of your career, right? So according to the research that was done, 50% of adults in their 40s, that's a huge number. So 50% of adults in their 40s are actually supporting both parents and children. And that number keeps rising. So let me know in the comments, are you surprised by that number? Do you think that that is higher than you expected? Or is it lower than you expected? So they say 50% of people, of adults in their 40s, Because I'm thinking 40s, right? You should be living your best life. You probably figured out, or you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your career. But then that's when they say you're starting to take care of everybody else. I was actually surprised, like 50%. But then again, recently we were having conversations about a lot of people in their 50s are dying. So when they say 50% of people are taking care of their parents and their kids, and that number keeps increasing. So by the time I'll be interested to know, by the time they're 45 and 50, how many percent of those people will be taking care of parents and kids? And then on average, according to a study that was done by Fidelity, do you know how much it takes how much it would cost to take care of an aging parent? $165. That's after tax, just to cover health care and expenses. That's a lot of money we're talking, right? So when we put those figures into perspective, we're talking after tax dollars to take care of one adult, $165. Not $165, pardon me, $165,000 to take care of a single aging adult. So we're not talking about your retirement. We're talking about your parents retiring. It's going to cost $165,000. So if we do not have that money saved, where is that money going to come from? So somebody please type that amount in the comments, because we need to visualize this amount of money, right? So sometimes when we are making decisions and we feel like we're failing everyone, we're failing our kids, we're failing our parents, we need to have this amount in perspective. Because if we do not save this money for ourselves, guess what's going to happen? We are going to be the exact same burden to our kids that we are to our parents. Let me say that again. If we do not save this amount for ourselves, the same way we are looking at the stresses that are coming from taking care of our parents, we're going to be that burden to our kids. So it is imperative that we save for our own retirement, because what is going to happen is we are going to pass on that generational trauma to our kids. That is why saving for our retirement takes priority, because we want to put an end to generational trauma. We do not want our kids to be in the same position that we are in right now. And the only way to do that is to start saving for retirement. So let me know in the comments right now, who are you taking care of? Are you taking care of your kids? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of your parents? And if you had an extra $200, what would you do with it? If you're taking care of your kids, you're taking care of your parents, and you have yourself to take care of. If you had an extra $200 right now, $200, what would you do with it? Because the other thing is, we have this guilt that is hanging over our heads, right? When we hold on to money, we feel like we need to take care of everybody else. It comes with the mom guilt that we talked about in the last session. it comes with, I want to be a great daughter. But like I said, think about it. It's $165,000 that you need as an aging parent, that you will need when you age. And if you love your kids so much and you do not save that money for retirement, guess what's going to happen? You're going to pass on that trauma to your kids. So while Dr. Ada Kaka is going to come on here and share her story, there are things that we can do to be able to take care of our parents, to be able to save for our kids, to be able to take care of our kids, and to be able to save for retirement so that we are not passing on that trauma to our kids. So I am going to share with you some tips that you can use to be able to start saving for your retirement. Because like I said, saving for your retirement is priority. The very first tip that you can use, and I always come prepared for this, is you want to have conversations with your parents. You want to find out from them what they have saved for retirement. If you do not know what their numbers are, you will not be able to, if you do not know what their numbers are, you will not be able to save for them. So some of our parents might have saved money with their Njangis back home. They might have money, invested. So you want to definitely have conversations with them prior to, planning for their retirement. Before we go ahead, I definitely would like to Dr. Ejikake to join us so that we can hear from her. Like I said, she has a wealth of knowledge to share with us. Again, if you are just joining us, we are talking about the sandwich generation, caring for our kids and our parents, and just the challenges that we face and tips that we can use to be able to prioritize our retirement while also taking care of our loved ones. So I'm going to bring Dr. Erikake, who is a daughter, who is a nurse practitioner, and she has been juggling all of this, and she is going to share our story with us. Welcome, Dr. Kake. We are
Uh,
glad to have you.
Welcome. Hi, CV. Thank
I
you so much for
see
me.
your mic is muted.
My, oh my goodness, 1 minute.
All right, there you go.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear
All
you.
right. Okay. No. Okay. Thank you so much for letting me share this juggle that we all going through in this wonderful show. And I thank you for bringing this awareness so most of us to can learn from it, piggyback, do something to help ourselves because I'm telling you, I'm in a car now and I'm doing this because I have to, because this is very important that I need to share my experience. And I think, like you said earlier, many of us, many other in our generation, I think most of us after 40, we're going through this. It's sad that at certain times in life, when you get to this age, you have to jungle the sandwich, taking care of your parents and taking care of yourself, taking care of the kids is not easy. So, but thank you very much for inviting me here. I'm so excited and ready so we could share our experience.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm
Yes.
excited you're here. So let me ask you, what has been your experience like taking care of your parents and taking care of your kids?
You know, um, that's a great question, and you just hit me right now because that's exactly what I'm going through, trying to take care of my parents. And not only that, especially when they're sick. And it's so funny and interesting in nowadays that most of the time our parents, I think back home when we grew up, You know, our parents used to think that we are their retirement. They invest in for us for retirement, right? But I doubt whether this generation is even going to think about us if we don't do something different and to manage our finances the best we can in saving. If not, we're going to have a really really hard and difficult life, and I feel like it's going to hurt our generation. You know, looking at the kids now, I'm thinking, I don't know how I can even go stand to them, you know, and ask them, oh, you have to do this, pay my bills or that. But I will tell you, it is very, 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 very difficult. But from where we come from and how we were grown, we just feel like we have to do it. But it's really overwhelming. I will not lie to you. It is, it is, it is.
Right.
Yes.
It's interesting that you mentioned the generation after us because they teach us a lot. They teach us a lot. They not only are they very entrepreneur, I'm gonna give that to them, but there's a self-awareness about them. They're not, for lack of a better word, I don't want to use the word selfish, but they are very into the in tune with what they need and themselves, unlike us where we're very like, oh my god, mommy want this, papa want this, but they're very like,
Right.
okay, I'm gonna take care of me and you'll figure out what you want. So they, I think they gave us a wake-up call to start figuring out what we want
Y-
because we're like,
Yeah.
okay, our parents were depending on us, but we cannot really depend on them. We got to get our stuff together. It's, I'm not going to use the French word, but they really gave us a wake up call to start figuring out what we want. Um, and Sagi said, we can't depend on these kids. Whatever
No,
they give us will be a bonus. That's right.
it's a
Like,
bonus.
yeah, yeah, it's difficult to be in the sandwich age. We are the retirement plan. So yeah,
Yes.
we really need to get our retirement plan together
You
because
know, just to chip in and I share I mean, I'm giving you my life and my personal experience. You know, my son just got married and he's 24 years old. And I was in my mind, like parents are thinking, right? I said, you
Mhm.
know what, I'm gonna work hard, do whatever I can, like you said earlier, your kids and dad. I juggle between taking care of my parents, making sure I send them to private school, making sure that, you know what, Eden, I went to school, I have this loan, I have a lot of school fees loan to pay, but let me make sure that when they grow up, they will not be like me having all that loan. So I did my best for their first degree, so they don't have no loans and everything. And you know what? Guess what? My son just graduated, and by the time he graduated, you know what, mom, I'm getting married. Don't think about me. You just need to figure out your bills and try to figure out how you're gonna pay those loans because you know what, it's my life. I have to take care of my life. So I'm just agreeing with you that it's very, very important that this is a wake up call for our generation, especially some of us that are hitting the fifth floor soon. It makes it even hard
Right,
because all
right,
this while you've been thinking, okay, you're going to invest on them, you're going to do this, you're going to make them be the best, hoping that they will take care of you just like we're taking care of our parents. But there is this great awareness that we all should stop thinking like that because
right,
he was very nice about it and he laughed about it. He was like, hey, mom, I got my own bills to take care of. You know, I'm telling you, don't put yourself in a lot of debts because you got to figure out how to pay it. I'm like, wow. But that's really for real. And it's a wake up call, Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah. Mhm.
So the other thing is, prior to you coming on, I was talking about guilt, right? Like we always carry around this mom guilt. Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't have enough funds and you had to choose between, taking care of your parents and providing for your kids? And,
Oh,
and how,
so
how
many.
did that make you feel?
You know, I'm glad you're asking me these questions because it's just like you just read my mind, and that's exactly what I'm going through. And I'll give you. It just passed not long ago. So, my dad always wanted to be celebrated, right? So the past December, my dad was, or I planned I was going to go back home and celebrate the celebration of his life, Thanksgiving, a celebration of his life. But guess what happened? But while I was thinking to do that, my son came up and like, hey, mom, I'm getting married. Hmm, I'm right there. What should I do?
Right.
Where will I get the money? I mean, that sandwich really tight, tight sandwich. Should
Right.
I go back home, go celebrate my dad, or should I support my son?
Right.
So I feel guilty, and I'll be honest with you because after saying, you know what, either you're the I gave birth to Kevin. Kevin is my responsibility. My son is my responsibility. I know my dad gave birth to me, but I think I have to take care of my son first before my dad. But it was cute that I still worry till today, And even now that my dad is sick, it still comes to my brain like, oh, either you would have gone there and celebrated him. Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do this? And with that, is making me now spend every day the little that I have to be sending money back home, that guilt and everything, and completely forgot about my own bills. I'm telling you, there are a lot that I haven't paid, but I need to make sure that I send that money back home. It's a very, very difficult place to put yourself in.
Right. So how do you let go of that guilt? It becomes the question, you know, because we carry
You
around this guilt, right? Like you say, oh, Sagi just put something. He says she answered the question before I even said it. I need to say no. If I don't have it, I don't have it. No guilt here. Because yeah, because you carry around this guilt, like you're saying, you don't have the funds, but we're carrying around this guilt. A lot of us carry around this guilt for not even having the money, which is you
true.
didn't have the money and you have to take care of your kids, your dad wanted to be celebrated. And a lot of us find ourselves in this situation. I've been in a similar situation myself where
Mhm.
you just don't have the money and your kids are making sacrifices too. My kids were making sacrifices too, and they're asking you for money, but you still feel guilty as if you've done something wrong, right? But you get to the point where it's like, how do I let go of the guilt? And in all of this, here is the interesting part: your needs are not being met.
No.
it's,
Mm-mm.
you are not even, it's not about
Mm-mm.
you. It's about the two people that you're taking care of.
That's right,
So we
right.
haven't even talked about what does Eddie want. It's
Mm-mm.
what do your kids want? What do your parents want? So it's nothing to do with you.
No. And you know
So
what is so interesting? Nobody even bothered to ask you what you want or not. Everybody's trying to get the best out of you. And I will add to the fact that, especially us that we're out here, I know you said, how can you fight this guilt? I will sleep and I'll be like, and they have that mentality, that mindset, oh, she's in America, she's making the money, she has money, but they don't even know that you have bills. They don't even know that they're better off than you here because most of the houses back home, they already paid, they just living, they don't pay rent, they don't see it that way. So like you asked me a very good question. How can you not be guilty? How can you take yourself off from this guilt? I am trying and I'm hoping that the fact that my son gave me a wake-up call to remind me that I have to focus on me is making me now to put some boundaries. Eat it. If you don't save, nobody's gonna be there for you. Eat it. If you don't save, eat it. I look front, I don't see nobody. I look back, I don't see nobody. I look on my left, I look on my right. I see that everything is me. So if I don't start focusing on me, I will not make no progress. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I take a look at the mirror and I say, Edith, who do you see in this mirror? I see Edith. Who else do I see my dad? No. Do I see my kids? No. So either you got to take care of you. If you don't take care of you, nobody's gonna take care of you. So those are the little things that I'm doing to try to take myself off this guilt, even though I'm not there yet. But I'm working towards it and trying to my best to focus on me, start looking at my health, looking at age, looking at how things are how things are going, to know that investment, savings, and everything is very important.
Right. I love that you talked about boundaries. I love it. I think that is the single most important thing, aside from learning how to manage your money, that as women we need to do, because we are bleeding money from every side when it comes to, because you're your kids, you're figuring out how they need to go to college, you do what they need to eat, their activities, your parents is okay. We need to take care of them, their health care. We need to, and then your own self, you're trying to figure out, if I'm working, how am I going to commute to work, how am I going to pay my bills? So three sides, you are bleeding money, like you're saying, and nobody even understands that. So, and then mentally you are just trying to make it, and the bills don't stop coming. So if you do not set those boundaries and put a tight barbed wire fence around it, you are going to lose it.
That's
So
right. It's so
uh,
easy.
you've talked about some of the things that, and I love that Sajid was saying that she's learning to say no, and if she doesn't have it. And please drop in the comments, what are some of the ways that you have instituted, just learn to say boundaries? What are resources that have helped you? Because a lot of women are still struggling to, to put their boundaries down and enforce them. So, what are some resources that have helped you to be able to set down your boundaries? And if you're in the comments, let us know what have you used, because I want people who come back to watch these videos to be able to piggyback off of these tips that we put down in the comments. So let us know in the comments what tips helped you to be able to set down those boundaries. And one of the things for me was, there was this book, Boundaries by Thomas Towson. I recommend it to anybody, anytime, to please read that book. And somebody please type it in the comment if you're available. Thomas Towson, that book really helped me. So, Dr. Kake, what tips would you say really helped you, or resources?
Great question. Thank you so much for that wonderful question. I think the main thing that I figure out is I took, like I said, I look at the mirror, I look at myself, and I say, Edith, there's nobody that is going to take care of you. So for this reason, you have to start setting boundaries. And I'll be honest with you, I've talked to you, I've listened to you. You're one of the resources that is helping me to set boundaries. I'll thank you for what you're doing, because there's sometimes that I hit like on your share, and it's like Shivi is talking to Edie right now. So that is helping me. So, and another way that I have learned to the tips that I've done that I'm really grateful is I invest, in stocks. I do. I know a lot of people say 401k or investment accounts or stocks account, but I realize is, especially at work, because to be honest with us, it's hard to take money, right? And then go give it somewhere. So with that mindset, what I do is, if I don't see it, I don't worry about it. So that being said, I have set up my 401k Roth in traditional 401k, and then the flexible account and all that. So the money just goes. I don't see it. What comes, I'm like, oh, for all this work that I work, is it all that they paid me? Oh my God, what am I gonna do? But then I'm stuck to live on that what I have and keep struggling to do that. So just not seeing the money, just letting them take the money off without you seeing it is helping me a lot.
Right.
You know, yes.
So, with that being said, I know she put some investment tips in there. I do want to say that this live show, although we are nurse practitioners and providers, and I am a financial coach, we definitely are giving entertainment and education advice. We are not your providers. So if you have any questions, please consult with your provider. Okay. So we are not giving you personalized health information advice or investment advice. So I do want to clarify that. So thank you so much for those tips that help to set boundaries. Now, other options that we can definitely, or tips that we can use to protect your investment. Now that you have mentioned that, is we definitely have. You talked about automation. That is one of the easiest things that we can use, right? Because we have that available at our job site. Just at least taking the minimum on our 401k, and other workplace benefits that we have, like our HSA, that we can use. We definitely, if you have a high deductible plan, you definitely want to make sure that you're taking your HSA, which is that the triple plan benefits that you have with your HSA. If you have that, you definitely want to make sure that you're using your HSA. And if you can, do not use your HSA, use your emergency fund, and you want to ask your employer about your dependent care flexible spending account, which is not like your HSA. If you have your FSA, you want to use that as well. And if you have your kids, you can open the 529 as well, so that they can be able to save for college. And also just make sure that your parents, if they can have like life insurance or long-term care insurance, then you can also save money as well. I know that we have options like Saji, right, Dr. Kake, for our
Yes.
elder parents. So that is
Oh,
something
yeah.
that we can definitely use, because one thing we do not talk about a lot with our parents is like life insurance. But definitely conversations that we should be having with our parents, right? Like the
True.
life insurance. So we definitely want to have that, because it's a journey that all of us are going to undertake. So
That's
I
true.
think it definitely decreases, the financial burden on us all. So have you found out any resources in the community that can help with taking care of elder uh, parents or kids, that can be helpful to anybody who is watching?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. For that question, I'll talk about myself. A great what I did for my son, right? My second son is the great. What I did was, instead of just sending them to university, I went through the community college
Right,
because it's cheaper. Was easy for me to pay, and then when he transferred to the university, at least he already finished 2 years. That was very helpful too. And for my
right,
parents, what I've done, like you said earlier, nobody knows. We all gonna die one day. It's so sad, but that's the truth. Especially when they're getting old. What I've done is, like you mentioned earlier, put them with life insurance. There are a lot of common ones all around. You have the World Financial. They have policies that you can buy. They have and then our local community ones like Sagi, the Saji, and then Cosnet. If you just those two, if anybody doesn't know about that, if you're worried about spending a lot, then you pay as the debt of course, so you're not forced, or you're not entitled to keep paying a particular amount every month. If any debt comes, they count the number of debts and they make you pay a certain amount. Just that, the other one is 20,000, the other one is 20,000 now. I think if anybody can have just those basic, it will help for their parents, especially if they're living in the United States. So if anything, 40,000 will at least help to transfer the cops back home or anything like that.
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's some good information. Although I do want to piggyback on World Financial and say that that is not something I would co-sign. I think long-term care insurance is much better than getting on those annuities, but that's a conversation for another day. But since we're definitely on my platform, I would want to clarify that. Okay,
All
so
right.
my viewers do know that how I feel about that. So if I do not address that, then they will be like, "What did you let that slide?"
I know.
And so I do want to clarify that, but definitely I'm with the things that you did say about that, and as also as far as the community resources, another thing is the Njangis that we do have.
Okay.
So we can
True.
definitely use that as well. So we have Njangi
Mhm.
that we can use, we can leverage. So if you're in Njangi, maybe you can pick early, you can pick later. If you're having trouble saving, you can also use that as well. There is this community. For those who do not have insurance, there is community gatherings that they can use, like Christian Life Ministry.
Oh
So
yeah.
maybe somebody type it in the comments. I can't remember the website off the top of my head, but a lot of us, though, like our parents come, they don't have Medicaid, so it's like a um, communal insurance. So if you go there, then you can put in like Njangi sort of, and then you can get insurance as well for our parents instead of them having to pay a lot of those bills. So that's another resource that they can use as well. So, but yeah, thank you for sharing those resources. So, with that being said, what is one thing that you wish that somebody had told you about being before getting into the sandwich generation? What would you say is one thing you wish somebody had told you?
Ooh. I think I feel like one thing that they would have told me is eat it safe for yourself
Oh,
before while you're doing it. Start saving when you're young, way before now that I'm hitting the fifth floor, because now it is difficult to save. But if somebody would have at least informed me or educate me in my 20s, either start saving well little, it would have been better by now. So if I want to advise anybody out there is while you are in the sandwich, please focus on putting something for yourself. The quicker the better, the sooner the better, and it will help you in the long run.
right, right. I think that time is the most valuable asset that we can have,
Yeah.
and we usually take it for granted. And then when it's crunch time, we start racing against the clock, and that's how we get into some get rich quick schemes. So that is some good information, and thank you for sharing that. So, if you're just joining us, we are talking about the sandwich generation, taking care of our kids and our parents, and some of the resources that we can use and we can leverage, and the challenges that we have faced. And I am having the privilege of talking to Dr. Edith Kake, whom is part of our community of Association of Nurse Practitioners here
Oh
in
yeah.
the U.S. So we do. Fun fact: she is the
Yes,
public
ma'am.
relations officer of our campus. That is our community of nurse practitioners here in the diaspora, in the U.S. And I am her vice. So welcome,
That's
boss.
right.
And we have our virtual conference coming up
Oh
in
yes. Oh
that.
yes.
So we are hoping that you all can be able to join us, and if you, especially if you are a nurse practitioner here in the U.S., because our conference is going to be packed full of information. So, Dr. Kake, what can they look forward to if they join us at this conference?
I'm very, very excited, and I want to plead that if you know any nurse practitioner out there, nurse practitioner student, it's not only nurse practitioner, anybody in the medical field, even nurses who could benefit from knowledge, because it says there's a saying that knowledge is power. There's nothing that you learn that is going to go in vain. Please join us because you're going to come out there not the same. You're going to get some 5 CEs, to help with your licensure when you're renewing your license. You're gonna you're gonna find yourself, communicating with other healthcare providers, and you're gonna get knowledge that will not only help your community, it's gonna help you and back home and your family. So please join us. That date, if I remember, please mark your calendar. We just have few more days to go. It's gonna be August 23rd. August 23rd. A Saturday. You don't need to leave your house. You don't need to go no anywhere. You just sit, set, sign in like you're doing now, and we just talk and you get those CEs. And at least the good news is you're gonna listen from your own. Sometimes when you listen to from people from your same community or from your country, it makes a lot better. You understand them better because they're talking from where you come from. They understand you, they understand what you're going through, and they know how to give you the information. So please join us. August 23rd is gonna be at from 8:30, from 9:30 to 3 p.m. Please join us and you will not miss it. Share, 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 and invite everybody to join us. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
All right, Dr. Edith Kake, thank you so much for being here.
You.
So during this live show, we have talked about a couple of things. We've talked about what the sandwich generation is. We've talked about the importance of prioritizing your retirement. If you do not do so, please, please, please make sure that you're automating your retirement, your 401k, and your tax favored accounts first. Make sure you're putting your oxygen mask on first, like they say at the airport. We've talked about having conversations with your parents and looking at what their needs are. If they have any money saved for Banda, Funjangi, we need to know what their needs are, their end of life needs are. And we've talked about, guilt and how we need to leverage that guilt and use it as empowerment by not transferring generational trauma onto our kids. Now, you were watching Beyond Financial Reset, where we talk about shifting our mindset, redesigning our career, enhancing our relationships so we can build wealth and you can live the life that you want. Again, I am Sylvie Moragwe, and my goal is to help you to be able to live the life that you want because I have learned that every great change starts with a reset. If you want to do that,
Of course.
please follow Beyond Financial Reset and encourage a mom, a working, busy woman to follow Beyond Financial Reset. Thank you so very much for being here. And we're going to be here on Thursday with another great, great woman, Dr. Juliana Atem, who is going to share her story. I love you for watching.